And where this leads me to all the way through is what I personally think is the best MMA organization outside of the UFC, and that's Cage Warriors. So Cage Warriors put on a trilogy event most recently. Again, I'll start with Ian. Thoughts on the Cage Warriors trilogy?
The trilogy as a whole was fantastic. We had some Irish interest there. It was a good weekend for Irish MMA. We came out
Amazing.
of it. We came out of it with two world champions.
Well,
Seeing
come on. Two
uh,
Cage Warriors champions. Come on.
it's technically a world
It's not.
championship belt. It's a world championship belt. So that's what we'll call it. And fair play to Joe McColgan. I was super happy to see him get the belt. He's put in a lot of work over the years and deserves that success. And the scenes of him coming back into his gym and stuff like that,
Amazing.
it was just great to see. Ian Garry put on a hell of a performance. I think other things surrounding the fight with his fallout with the camp and stuff like that kind of took away from that win a little bit, but I was very happy for him. It was a tremendous performance. It seemed like he had a lot going on in and around his camp with injuries and other stuff going on. So, to be able to go in there and dominate Jack Grant in the way that he did, considering everything that had been going on, shows that he has strong mentality, which you do need to have as well if you're competing at the top level in the sport too. But like the whole card, there was the Bonner fight and Matthias Frederick's fight was a phenomenal fight as well.
Jesus
that first card was crazy. Just got set the scene for the whole weekend. It was just like Cage Warriors should be very, very happy. It was a really good show.
Absolutely. And I just want to dive in because I'm probably the biggest Cage Warriors fan ever. Like there are some things that I really dislike about Cage Warriors, but they are overshadowed drastically by the things that I absolutely love about them. And the sort of the convex of Cage Warriors in comparison to the UFC is their behind closed doors management is seemingly, I don't know it obviously, but it's nailed on, right? Like it seems like they're there to promote fighters. They have a very clear direction. They want to bring fighters in, put the best fighters against the best fighters, find out who the best fighters in Europe are, and then send them to the UFC, right? That's basically their goal, or wherever they want to go. You've got a fantastic matchmaker in Ian Dean, probably one of, if not the best matchmaker in the world right now.
I think he nearly is the best at the end of the world right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then, Graham runs a tight ship, seems to take no bullshit, seems to know what he wants from his fighters, seems to know what he wants from his promotion, and goes out and does it, right? They're obviously included in Safe MMA, which is amazing, and you don't get that with a lot of MMA productions. And yeah, they just get it right, the pacing of the shows, the production,
the commentary
team
is unbelievable. Like it's unbelievable. Like Brad and the addition of Dan Hardy as well. Like they just do an absolutely tremendous job. And yeah, it's just a joy to look at. The product as a whole is fantastic. And Ian Dean is doing a tremendous job, and and then also they need the talent as well. In order to put the cherry on top of the cake. You can have everything perfect production wise, commentary wise, everything. But if you don't have the fighters, you don't get them matched up properly. It's not going to work. But Ian Dean does a fantastic job at doing that. And like, there's no real gimme fights in Cage Warriors. And that's why we've seen a lot of those Cage Warriors fighters move over to the likes of the UFC and stuff like that. And yeah, it's great to see. And I can't wait for the next one already.
I agree. I mean, before I took it over to you, Robbie, I just wanted to ask an overarching question, and maybe you can fill this question in at the end of your thoughts. Like, I want to know if you could have top 3 standout performances from the Cage Warriors trilogy. Who would you pick?
Oh, Christ. Well, I can't pick them because my only qualm with Cage Warriors is that they put all 3 cards over 3 days. It's so hard to watch. There are too many bits, and it was fantastic. And I have had time to watch them all. But I don't know 3. I could pick out 3 from a single card if I'd watched one, but I'm not even going to comment, because even if I'm going to do 3, I'm going to look back and I'm going to be disappointed I missed one out. But I don't know what more I can say. You two are like waxing lyrical about Cage Warriors. It's a great organization. Ian, I can't believe you missed out Dan Strauss, though, when you're talking about the commentary team.
Strauss, yeah.
He seemed to have a bit of a thing for Bravo chokes
Yeah,
during
taking the back.
Yeah, every time he mentioned the Bravo choke, and I'm like, I don't remember the last time I saw a Bravo choke in MMA. That excellent work. But I don't know what else to say about it. What you haven't already.
So Ian, I mean, maybe we can go one for one. I think my top of the list is Joe McColgan.
Yes, I probably have to agree with you there. That was on paper a hell of a lot of a tougher fight for Joe than what he made it. I would not have been uber confident that, it was actually his interview with Sean kind of changed my opinion. It was so good and raw and honest, and he seemed that he was in the right place, and his mentality seemed that, this was his, if he went in there and lost, that was it for Joe, I think, and I think he knew that himself. And he just went in there and absolutely destroyed Sardari. I was blown away by it. It was like you take off your media cap for a minute and you turn into a fan for a second, because I was up out of my seat and I was happy to see that, and I just feel, it was great. It was great for Joe, great for the team. And he definitely would be in the number one spot for performances of the weekend for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just before we move on to my second pick, I actually picked Joe McColgan really heavily in that fight. I just thought, obviously I don't have the personal ties that you and some of the other guys have to Joe, but I just felt like McColgan's style against Sardari's style is just a terrible styles matchup for Aggie Sardari. And that takes nothing away from the fighter that Aggie Sardari is. But just what Joe brings to the table is so hard to deal with when you're a fighter like Aggie Sardari. But my second performance goes to William Gomis. So again, the fighters that didn't watch this, Tobias Harila is like, I mean, he's Dan Hardy's favorite fighter, right? That's what it seems like. Comes in the fucking jumpsuit and the Joker mask and just walks down William Gomis for literally 15 minutes whilst getting the head bet off him, and just showed supreme composure and supreme skill set to be able to circle that cage, land the shots that he needed to land, hit takedowns, hit beautiful trips, hit, just fantastic footwork. So William Gomis is my second. And my third is obviously Ian Garry, right? I mean, I'd be remiss. I know that we can't say too much about the team fallout or anything else that sort of circulated around at that time. But, Ian Garry said himself that he tore a ligament in his knee 2 weeks out or whatever. He then 10 days out, him and his camp fell apart. So to walk into the biggest fight of your career with one leg or half of one leg, right? No corner, no team, still go make weight professionally and put on the performance he did. To me, that's way more impressive than anything he did in the actual fight. And there was plenty in the fight that was actually extremely impressive. But I think showing that mental toughness to be able to go through all of those things and still produce and still dominate, that tells me a lot about the man,
Yeah, I agree there. I won't say it again. You said it perfectly there too. To go in there and do what he did under the circumstances was fantastic. Just another one, I guess, that I would like to mention, an honorable mention would be Nathan Fletcher. I think that he looked absolutely fantastic, and he is a serious prospect. And it's just, you look at some guys and you're just dying to see them fight again. And he's a guy that I cannot wait to see fight again. He's just been dominating all of his performances, 6-0 right now. And he has the world at his feet at 135 pounds. And I'm thinking that we're looking at a potential future champion, and he's definitely a guy who's going to be moving on to the UFC for sure in the next year or two, I'd say, for sure.
Well, my other honorable mention is Sam Creasey, just because I fucking love him. And to be able to throw that many, in the words of Dan Strauss, high octane takedowns and mat returns and still be able to push and continue to use, fantastic. Anyway, we'll jump into
other honorable mentions, guys. No one else you want to shout out from the card?
I think that'll be it, actually. Do you know what we should do for the next trilogy? We'll do a breakdown, and we'll do whatever, because maybe even if it's just me and Ian, because I know the other two scrubs won't probably want to watch it, but